everyone is reacting to Ifunanya's story. Her handle is 6-foot Amazon. According to her testimony, her dad relocated back to Anambra State from America and was betrayed by the people, his family members, who were meant to protect him. That's basically the story. But I want to take it in a different direction, because some people are even jumping on it now saying Jakbada is a risk. Betrayal, family members are wicked and this and that. But this is bigger than one family. And there are some deeper things I want us to reflect on as Nigerians, as diasporans, as parents. Number one being that the betrayal is not new or peculiar to Nigeria. Sadly, what happened to Ifunanya's dad is not new. It's just that now we now have smartphones, camera phones to start capturing these kind of things as they happen. And if this lady, Ifunanya, had not shown us some of the clips she was showing us, many people will still be having their doubts about some of the things she shared, because the sheer wickedness, it was astounding. A friend in the UK shared a story with me, something similar. Her dad is Ghanaian, but he came to Canada with PRO, then got his Canadian citizenship. So the dad was working, doing well. I think she said he was in aviation, so he was working. One time he went home on holiday back to Ghana. On that trip, he had fun with his friends. According to my friend, had fun with his friends, and they said they wanted to go hiking and see places, and he was fine. His best friend was there, everybody, and they went. When they came back from the hiking, her dad was missing. Where is he? Where is he? Everybody was behaving. Oh, is he not here? Oh. Everybody was behaving as if, okay, I thought he was with us, but he wasn't with them. A search party was sent to go back to retrace their steps where they went. They retraced their steps. They didn't see, they called out everything. So then they had to go to the police. And the police stepped in. So the police was investigating. The case was not going anywhere. The people that were even detained, that's the people that went on the hike with him, they were all walking free at the time. So the Canadian government now got involved because he was a Canadian citizen. Even though he was in Ghana, his original country, but being a Canadian citizen, the Canadian government got involved. This lady said even though the police dropped it, the police in Ghana dropped the case, since the case was no head, no tail, they were not getting any new information. All the people that went on that hiking were saying the same thing. The police had no lead, so they were trying to drop the case. She said the Canadian government was on that case for over 5 years. For a man originally from Ghana that something happened to in Ghana, but because he was a Canadian citizen, they had to step in, even though they didn't get anywhere with the case. But she said she was so impressed that even 5 years later, the Canadians were still asking about this case. What's the update? What's the update? What are you doing about it? So for people even saying, that's how the Igbos are, or that's how people in the East behave, this thing is not about tribe. It's about humans. Sarah Donald said this thing in a podcast. It's not a matter of being black or white or being an Igbo or Yoruba or Benin. It's not about that. It's about people. I think it's about good and bad. There are people in this life that are good and there are people in this life that are bad. The thing I know is that sometimes when you have wicked people around you and you manage to go abroad and try to hustle, it kind of dehumanizes you. They now see you as an office. They open office like a cash machine. You are no longer like a human being to them with feelings or emotions. They would tend to want to squeeze you out because they think you are there working for them. So any money you have, they have a right to it. And when I saw that man's house, because the way I've seen a lot of these things growing up. I grew up in Benin, so you have people going abroad and sending money. I've seen some wicked families. There was one family like this. The lady said she sent money to buy a land and build 4 flats. What did the family members do for her? They built a 3-bed boys' quarter behind their own house. They did not buy no land. They did not build anything for her. She was deported from Italy, and she came back and she, where is my house? They kept until the day they showed her, that's boys' quarter, that's your house. This lady fainted. She woke up. she started shouting, "Where's my house? Where?" Do you know what they did? They beat her up and bundled her to the police station. They arrested her on top her money. On top her money. But guess what? These brothers were building their own houses. They bought lands and they were building houses. And when I saw Ifunanya's father's house, I was like, because I know he might not have been on ground to build the house, so probably the family members helped him. For that house like that, as that house is there like that, I'm sure uncle and auntie have bigger ones that they already built with his money. Because even I've forgotten the part where Ifunanya said when she came back to her father's compound to collect something, I think to get his passports, she thought that, oh, they are using her father's money to build another small house in the compound. In my mind, I said, hey, girl, they are building something even bigger, or they've built something bigger. From a narration, if that man was treated like that by his siblings when he was on ground, just imagine what they would have been doing with his money. But I digress. As I was saying, this isn't just a bad tribe. It happens all over Africa. It happens all over the world. It happens among humans. Wicked humans will look for a way to take from any other person, no matter what it takes. It's bad, it's heartbreaking. It happens. Which takes me to my second point. This is why citizenship in a serious country matters. Let's be honest, the fact that her dad and herself were Americans made a huge difference. Because according to her, when things started going south, she quickly contacted the US Embassy. And the US Embassy got involved immediately. But if he was just Nigerian or without a second citizenship of a serious country, who knows how things may have gone. Because mind you, she had gone to report to the police and the police was involved. The way I'm looking at that uncle and auntie, according to her narration, they may have the money and the capacity to tell the police to say, you know what, be quiet. We want to do it like this. Take this, hold this. So as soon as the Americans got involved, the police knew this was no ordinary case. So even if the auntie and uncle tried to do anything funny with the police to hush them up, because the police knew the Americans were on it, they had to do their job really well. This is where citizenship of a powerful country shows its weight, not just in travel. We talk about travel, how our passport is weak, but actually, being a citizen of a powerful country can actually protect you. Because when people even know that, oh, this guy is an American, he's Canadian, he's British, they know how to do your matter. Is it not in Nigeria there they said Boko Haram people kidnapped an American citizen, and from US, they came to pick their person and took that person out. But how many Nigerians have been going through these kind of things? In Nigeria, even in Ivory Coast, we hear our people being trafficked. And our government, this one says, it's not my job, oh, I'm minister of this. That's not my office. We are using Torchlight to look for whose office it is to protect Nigerians abroad. When you are a citizen of a country that value lives, and they don't take nonsense. When you're in trouble anywhere in the world, they will stand up for you. I hope Nigeria gets to that level one day, that you say, I'm Nigerian, I'm in trouble, and the Nigerian embassy will be saying, how do we help you? Let's expedite this help. Let's bring help for you sharply. Which brings me to my third point. Kids raised in the diaspora are not lost causes. There's this belief that kids raised abroad are not as grounded or as smart, like street smart, as kids raised in Nigeria. But Ifunanya proved the opposite. You could see that was a child raised with love, values, and spiritual awareness, that they do money devotion for that house. There was one song she was singing. What's that song? He's a miracle working God. When the auntie was finally brought to book, she was singing that song. That's one thing I like about her. She was not hiding her faith. She did not want to look cool. People should not come and see that I'm a church girl. No, she was out there. She was representing her faith. And even now that she's sharing her story, some people are having issues with the fact that she's saying the Holy Spirit. Some people are having issue with the fact that she's reading the scriptures. That's her values, and I love her for it. That boldness she took to the village. She was bold, she was respectful, she was emotionally intelligent and grounded in truth. I'm telling you, if her parents drop a master class on how to raise your kids in the diaspora, I will be buying a ticket. You could see her upbringing in many of the things she did, as well as her yielding to the Holy Spirit. You could see the difference. She wasn't reacting in rage, in the flesh. And I will not lie, the first day I listened, I was like, oh, our dad is still in that place. I would be carrying my dad along. But as she went on in the story, I said, we need to always listen to the Spirit of God. Do you know that auntie that could get, I don't know whether it's military people she said she got, she could have gotten those people to go and get her father from wherever she put him and lock him right back up. This was before she involved the US embassies. She didn't have that much protection. So everything was just working out. And how things were working out is not random. That's what happens when you raise a child to not just behave well, but also to hear from God. You know, in Africa, we like sons. Raise your son, my son, my son. But you see, not just raise your sons, raise your daughters. That girl was well raised. She was bold. She was fearless. She was loving, the love in her heart. Even when her uncle in the US, according to her narration and what she showed us, when her uncle in the US tried to do some monkey games, you see how she confronted them? She stood up for her dad. For people thinking this is just a jackbada thing, did you see the uncle in the US trying to get the dad to sign something? That was not in Nigeria. That was right there on the soil of the United States of America. That's to tell you, it's not even a matter of location. It's the heart of these people. And you see how bold she was confronting the uncle in the US. She didn't try to please uncle and auntie. She protected her dad. That's a child who knows who they are. And I'm sure the father fought for her when she was a child. She knows her father loves her, and she loves her father right back. As far as a child, let them be able to stand up for themselves, because when they can stand up for themselves, the day you would need help, they will stand up for you. You know, in Benin they say Arabiomo or Ibioma. It's something like when you give birth to a child, after a while the child will not be the one that gave birth to you. Like the roles changed. At a time you were the one protecting this child. Now this child is now the one protecting you. No matter how big, how heavyweight you are, there will come a time when you need your children to protect you, to help you. Not necessarily with money, but you see things like this. The man was not poor. He was not in need of money. He just needed protection, love. You know, in the Nigerian context, before we got to see what was happening, before we heard the backstory and everything, some people would tag Ifunanya as being rude to her elders. Even though she did not scream, she did not insult, she was just insisting on seeing her dad, and her uncle and auntie were asking her to leave, they were assaulting her and all that, and she stood her ground. In some people's books, that's disrespectful. As soon as they ask you to leave, you need to start going. You need to leave and obey. It doesn't matter how wrong anybody is, as far as they are your senior, you must obey them. You know that version of respect our people like that. You see this generation, you must make sense to them before they will listen to you. You need to come correct, because if you are just coming based on I'm your elder, therefore you should respect me, you should obey me, they are not answering you. Then the last thing I want to highlight is the beauty of the community in Africa. You see, she kept saying Umuna, Umuna, Umuna. Umuna is the extended family. In my place, we also have it. We even have a name for each of our Umuna. That's our family, our extended family. We have a name. In my village, on my father's side, my cousins, all our cousins, extended family, we live in the same part of the village. We live in the same quarters. Same with my mother's side of the village. Her family, they live in the same quarters. So if something is happening, your family people know. So that's the beauty of community in Africa. Many African communities are still living like this, especially if you go to the villages, not in the big cities. In the villages, our roots, our indigenous people, they are still living like this. They live in quarters, they live in their family units. Okay, this is our nuclear family, but our extended family, we stay together, we're all together. We see ourselves as family. You see the important role the Umuna played, the extended family members played. That's something you will not see abroad. Instead of your neighbor who is not like your Umuna, like your clan, to help you or to come and even see what's happening here. They may just quietly call the police behind the curtain and maybe be looking at you through their CCTV or through their curtain. They will not be stepping out to help you. The beauty of community in Africa, you cannot even understate it. And for those people saying, oh, bad family people, I just think the uncle and the auntie were the bad eggs in that family. This story is a good example why you should not generalize. Hasty generalization, no good. Do you see? Even in that village, inside her family, you see, she said about her father's best friend. She said about her umuna, the youth leaders. You can hear how she was saying how they all helped. They all helped out and rescued her dad. This story shows both the dangers of broken family systems and the power of healed ones. Our culture still has beauty. Oh, hey, they will say Igbo amaka, Nigeria amaka, Africa amaka. Our culture still has beauty when rooted in truth and justice. As much as the betrayal was the front, left, right, center of this story, it wasn't just about the betrayal. For me, what I was seeing in this story was about love, about parenting, courage, and spiritual sensitivity. Ifunanya stood up for her father. Do you know many people will not even cross the sea? They say, Daddy, are you? He says it's not. My auntie says it's in Abuja. No. Auntie will tell you stories. She tried to reach him. She could not. She came. America foul. She left everything she was doing and came to make sure to see her dad. The love and care Ifunanya showed for her dad, many of us could see ourselves in that. And this is also a challenge to those that will say, me, I cannot do that one. No. Me, I cannot do that one. The inconveniences. Do you know what it is to live? I don't know if she has been to her village before, if this was her first time. But leaving your comfort zone. You can say that's her home. Her village is her home. But actually, America is not her home. That's where she lives. That's where she knows things. Home is kind of strange to her now. Ifunanya stood up for her father, and many of us saw ourselves in that moment. So I'm asking, especially for those of us in the diaspora, what kind of children are we raising? Would your child fight for you like she did for her father? Would you fight for your parent like she did for her father? I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk honestly. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.